So the other day, I received an admission from the ER, and in the admission report from the nurse who was there, giving me the report as a med-surg nurse, they were like, "Hey, this patient's coming up. They have a chest tube." And so, in my understanding of chest tubes, I don't see them a lot. I just know there has to be a collection chamber. So I'm doing my assessment. I'm walking over, assessing the patient, which I admonish you to do that when you have a new admission. Look them over. Everything, skin, everything, look them over. And so I'm looking at this so-called chest tube, which I see it in his chest or in that patient's chest, and I'm like, but it's not hooked up to anything. And so in the admission, I'm realizing that the report that she had given me, she didn't tell me anything about suction. She didn't tell me anything, just that, oh, they have a chest tube, and told me where it was in their intercostal. And I'm thinking, okay, great, but there's nothing that it's hooked up to. And so I'm going to say this. A lot of times you can just go with the flow and just say, oh, there's a chest tube and that's it. Maybe this is the new chest tube, so you're drawing these conclusions on your own. But no, be an inquisitive nurse. Do not just, especially if you have a funny feeling and things are not the way it's supposed to go from your basic nursing knowledge, be inquisitive. Ask questions, ask the doctor. So what I did was I rounded up my resource nurse, which is an ICU nurse who's basically on call to help us when patients are declining. And I'm like, look, I have this so-called chest tube, but it's not hooked up to anything. Is this right? She had no idea what it was. Then we had to add in the doctor thinking that the patient is hooked up to the chest tube and it's hooked up to suction. It can't be hooked up to suction because we've never even heard of this. Come to find out, it was a device that was new, that was not used. There was no policy on it, and it was given to me. And so if I would have just gone with the flow and just assumed there's a chest tube and just left it in there, this would have trickled on to each nurse that basically would have just gone with the flow. And so I'm telling you guys that are new or even experienced, if you do not feel right about something, if something does not add up and it does not coincide with your basic nursing knowledge, ask questions. Don't just go with the flow. And so I'm thankful that I am like that, because when things aren't right or if things need to be done, I'm digging deep. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And I'm so happy that I did, because I got an answer that felt right with me, and I was able to give an adequate report to the next nurse. So ask questions. If things don't feel right, if things are not adding up, ask. Even if you feel like it's a dumb question, ask, because your question could be the difference between a patient living and dying.